I'm Shads from Gamestah, and with me tonight is Domica. She's also going to be in the casting booth. So how are you going so far?
I am not too bad. I'm a little sick, so pre-warning to everybody, and my apologies if I cut out randomly. It does mean that I'm muting my mic because I need to cough, and I apologize in advance.
Look, it's understandable given how things are, but we are a bit into the bans at the moment. We've had the first bans. We've had Spirit Breaker, Enigma, Nyx Assassin, and Templar Assassin for Saviors, and we've got Ninefold banning out Nature's Prophet, Lifestealer, Treant, and Shadow Demon. So most of those are pretty much your standard bans, but for the picks we've got Weaver, OD, and Warlock, all three of those big heroes. Then Batrider, Razor, and Sven for Ninefold. Now we'll probably see. Well, it actually depends. We've actually got the Alchemist pick there now, but I don't know. Have you got any thoughts so far, Dom, on lanes, that sort of stuff?
Not necessarily at the moment. I mean, obviously Warlock is going to be playing support for the Saviors, but I'd like to see what they pick up in their last slot. It doesn't surprise me that Ninefold have banned out the Lifestealer. These two teams are friends with each other, they do know each other, and Kiska, who is the position 1 for Saviors, absolutely loves playing Lifestealer, but Weaver is another favourite of his as well, so he should do pretty well on that. I'm loving Ninefold's team at the moment. I would love to see them pick up an IO, if possible, since it hasn't been banned out, solely because I am one of those absolute fans of a Sven-IO combination, but obviously not a guaranteed pick there.
It is good fun, and they've actually let that Wisp pick slide through, which is kind of surprising because he is such a dominant ganking hero. And he is actually going to be making it through, so we could see him picked up as Jakiro's banned out for Ninefold. But they've got the Coddle and Sven, like that's a massive tri-lane for them to have. And if they, they've still got another support hero to pick up there, we can see possibly Razor going mid with Batrider off lane, or they can even just decide to Sven support. But if they can get a Wisp in there, they're going to have a pretty heavy tri-lane to run with, and that's going to be competing with what looks like a defensive tri-lane of Warlock, Alchemist, and someone else. They could possibly pick up like a Lena in that, or there's a lot for them to put into that. So it sort of depends on this last two picks. If you got predictions, we'll see. Well, we'll see that OD mid for sure, but who's another support they can use?
Visage would be a great pickup if they know how to play it. Obviously, Visage is fantastic. The Tidon are coming out on Saviors, so this is actually a pretty good combination for them with the Warlock. I mean, we've got two major AoE stuns in control there, which allows the Weaver and the Alchemist to get in there and do some significant damage. But yeah, I personally would love to see IO or Visage come in there. I think they're two of the strongest supports in the game, or possibly even a Chen coming out from Ninefold. But yeah, IO and Visage would be my votes, but we'll see what they pick up.
IO is definitely a good pick, and it gives them that that early and mid game stomping around the map, and they'll be able to put so much aggression onto that Weaver, onto the Alchemist, and even onto the OD, depending on how his lane goes. But they've actually Saviors have opted for that Tidehunter support, which is a pretty good support. As soon as you hit level 6, you're pretty much set. Like, you just need that Ravage to come through, and it just counter initiates anything you've got, which is going to have to force the BKB on both Sven and Razor, and possibly even on that Batrider. But we're going to get a Gyrocopter coming out for Ninefold as the 5th pick, so you can run him as both support and hard carry. But the same can be said for Sven. They've got plenty of sort of variety in their lineup at the moment.
Yeah, there is a lot of options that both teams have here for how they want to try and counter each other with their lanes. I do think we're going to have to wait a little bit, but just to call out now, we'll go to Ninefold side first. So on Ninefold we've got Tills on the Razor, we've got Sullivan City on the Sven, we've got Wreck-It Ralph, love that movie, on the Keeper of the Light, Bears Be Quick on the Batrider, and Meadsy Bro City on the Gyro Chopper.
So what we've got for Saviors at the moment, we have Weaver, Kiskai playing the Weaver, and it looks like he's going to be taking up the off lane. We'll be seeing Alchemist lol in a bowl heading top with Squashed on the Warlock. At the moment we've got Tidehunter sitting in the base, and that is Arch Enemy, but we'll be seeing Cardi heading up that mid lane as the Outworld Devourer, as he's now known. Thanks, Val, for the name change. We really didn't need that, but that is a predictable mid. But at the moment, we have Ninefold, is it? Yeah, Ninefold are like moving top with their entire team, going for mid aggressive.
Oh,
they popped that early smoke. We have got that early ward out, but I think Lol in a bowl and Squashed could be in a bit of trouble. Alchemist is looking like he's going to walk into trouble, and he's been spotted. Stormhammer's coming out from Sven. Garo's going to roll up and Rocket Barrage. That's a lot of damage. Illuminate pops for 150 damage. Razor's now got that static link on, and he's taking a lot of damage. Down he goes. Coddle gets first blood for 410 gold. That is not a good start for Alchemist.
It really isn't, but that was from Ninefold. I mean, with those heroes, they have such a strong early game when it comes to their damage. Obviously, Spurn Stun and the Gyro Chopper, Rocket Barrage, so good move by them. And now we see them splitting them off there, going into their respective lanes. So it looks like we're going to have Gyro and Spurn in the top lane, with Batrider roaming with them. So it could be a possible aggressive tri-lane there, and Razor sitting in the mid with their Keeper of the Light heading down to bottom.
Yeah, look, it's a strange lineup.
Oh no, Sven's moving too.
They can have that roaming support Sven. He's got the 2 Gauntlets of Strength, so he's looking like he's going to opt for that that early Urn of Shadows. We do have that tri-lane up at top, which we sort of predicted, with the Weaver off lane, and he's going to be against Coddle in safe lane, which doesn't make sense, but Sven could be coming down to pick up that farm. But a 2-1-2 lane is a bit unorthodox these days, and Coddle really can't stand against that Weaver. He's taking a lot of damage. Weaver does have Shikuchi up, and he's taking a lot of damage from those creeps, but Coddle really just needs to send an Illuminate on him. He's going to take a lot of damage. But they don't have sentries for that Weaver either.
It is a very interesting line here. I mean, we're seeing the 2-1-2 from Ninefold, but the tri-lane coming out from SV. But I mean, I think that bottom lane is not going to be an issue for Kiska. I don't expect him to have too much trouble here. Obviously, if he gets caught out with a Sven stun, as well as a Keeper of the Light wave, that's going to be a problem. But, you know, Weaver has so much escapability. He has that survivability of being able to just, you know, attack from range, move away quickly, and probably isn't going to be too concerned.
No, he does, and it's exactly as you said. Weaver is, and you know, because of that, he's such a safe lane because of that Shikuchi, just invis and haste away more or less. And unless he gets stunned and then illuminated, he's not really going to die. Or he's, you know, normally have too much of a problem. He's got that Geminate attack for last hitting, and if he wants to get a level in the Swarm, which is quite uncommon, but it is going to be quite formidable on that Sven, lower his armor, get those extra damage in, and you know, maybe even pick up a kill. The lane they're going to be watching is up top as well. They've got that big Alchemist stun, Unstable Concoction, which will come out. And you know, there we go.
Nicely done.
Weaver gets a kill. Possible double here if he gets a bit more Shikuchi and Geminate off. And you know, this double attacks early on does so much damage, a lot more than you'd think.
Yeah, definitely. I think Sven here is not too concerned about being ganked by the Weaver. I mean, Sven is a very tanky hero, and even without the mana to throw his Sun out there, Weaver just doesn't quite have the damage on him just yet. But Keeper of the Light, I mean, we missed it just then for a moment there, but Weaver takes on Keeper Light so quickly. And can get away Sven with no dramas. I mean, he's already leading the last hits with 8 last hits, 2 denies, so yeah. I think that we're going to have to see Ninefold here rotating from their mid to gank this Weaver as quickly as they can, or at least really focus on getting the denies to try and keep him down.
It's exactly that, and they can't let him get free farm either. As an off-lane hero, you know, you should be shutting that hero down to a maximum of 30 creep kills in 10 minutes, and you want to have on your safe lane at least 50, even 70 by that 10-minute mark. And it doesn't really look like either team is going to be going for that at the moment. We've got Razor at the mid, who's currently 10-6, so he's doing pretty well against that OD, quite surprisingly. And Razor is one of the few heroes who does counter OD in that middle lane. And that's purely because that static link just goes straight through that Astral Imprisonment, but also his passive Unstable Current does a little bit of damage to OD too, which is always a nice sort of bonus. And OD doesn't do that much damage if he's not stealing any in.
Exactly, and you know, Razor being an Agi-based hero and ranged as well really is one of the perfect counters for OD when it comes to a mid lane because, you know, as you mentioned before, all his abilities can basically do damage to OD, and OD can't really get much back off him. I think top lane is going to be really interesting to watch there with their Warlock, because Warlock is playing not aggressively necessarily, but he is moving to the lane with the Alchemist. The Alchemist is a little behind on farm from where I would like to see him. But the Warlock coming into this, if he can get geared up with that Tide Hunter, seeing the Tide Hunter blink come in with an ulti and the Warlock ulti landing directly on top with an Alchemist Acid Spray underneath, that is going to be an amazing team fight right there. So hopefully these two have really good synergy.
Yeah, it should work, right? They've got a lot of negative armor on their team, and it's you know, once that Razor starts coming out, especially with Eye of the Storm, that's a lot. Oh, sorry, not Razor, Weaver. Once Weaver gets that swarm down, that's a lot of armor to take off straight away. Plus, you've got Tidehunter, who also gets rid of armor with his Gush. It drops, what is it, 5 at max level. So they're going to be doing a lot of physical damage, and then OD can just come in, smack power with that ulti, and there's a lot of more magic damage.
We've got OD here rotating to bottom now. He's picked up a double damage rune. And it's probably heading down there to see if they can gank this Weaver, who unfortunately has been caught out trying to go after the Sven. Sven's throwing out there his Stormhammer. Weaver not too stressed yet, still going into the aggressive.
OD's running past Weaver though. He could have picked up Wreck-It Ralph there with an Imprison. He did get the Imprison on him, and Coddle's been reduced to about 10 mana. But unfortunately just not really... You know, they didn't really coordinate that well enough to go for a definite gank. They were both sort of out of tower range, just past that line. Oh god, that gank was horrible. And it just resulted in him falling back a little bit too defensive. But they don't have any wards, so they didn't see him coming. It was just an overextension from Weaver, and he had to pop that time lapse a bit early, unfortunately.
Indeed, and I apologise to everyone yet again. I am definitely going to have moments where I'm just going to cut out talking because my throat cannot keep up with this. Unfortunately, I do hope that I'll be back to my normal state. Oh!
He's close, he gets it.
Big, greedy, and it pain. Oh, well done.
It was a big dive, and we've got Razor coming in now, who's going to try and pick up on that. He's stealing a little bit of damage, and Weaver's trying to Shikuchi, but Razor can just follow him around with that static link. He's stolen 112 damage. Oh, here we go. Big Stormhammer from Sven. Comes in, smacks him, Razor gets the kill. So that's nice damage, and nice pickup from Razor. They lost the Coddle, but... it's a free kill for Razor, and he's got the phase boots now. Let's put him with the highest GPM as well, equal with that Weaver. So it's a nice little catch-up. And that's actually
definitely losing the Weaver versus the Cuddle is definitely a win there for Ninefold. You know, as horrible as to say, Cuddle doesn't really need a whole lot when it comes to items and XP to be useful. So he's a little bit of a kind of a oh well, he's dead sort of situation for that team.
Exactly. He only needs level 6 so he can just so he can get that spirit form and just start recalling and keep that split push going too. And that's really all you need Coddle for, and that's why he works so well with Phantom Lancer. Early game you can just funnel him with mana, and you know, 20 minutes, 25 minutes in, you can just have him pushing with his little illusion army, then just recall him back to the team fight. It's a free TP scroll and straight into the team fight as well, and that's what makes Coddle so dangerous, that early and mid game presence, plus that split push towards the end.
Got a couple of pauses going out here. Hopefully we don't have any disconnects coming through there. Probably just a little bit of lag. Not a whole lot of communication coming across from the teams just yet. We do see that both teams are starting now to pick up wards again. The vision has fallen down the map, which is not really ideal. Watching some drawings come out there from Ninefold on the Razor side, possibly having a bit of a puppy pause right here, a bit of strategy going out as they discuss what they're doing. Puppy pauses, gotta love them.
Yeah, just, you know, even if you follow the subreddit Dota 2, they're just saying, you know, Havost, move right as he's playing Earthshake. You know, just dodge quickly. But Puppy's a good captain. He's the master tactician. That works too. We got there. But, you know, it's what he's known for. And this is you know, you can also call this a phenol pause. We have seen a few of those lately, especially with that Alliance game where they, you know, the game just pretty much crapped out itself, and then it's like, oh, we'll have to redo it now. Not ready yet, though. Just have a look at. We'll just have a look at the.
Tide being blamed for the pause here on SV's side. So good for Ninefold, giving a bit more time here to strategize and chat.
Well, there's not a whole lot they can actually do. You know, there's no one in a close proximity to a fight at the moment. There's pings coming out for the bottom camp, and that's about it. But Mr. Sullivan, the Sven, it looks like he's gonna be in a little bit of trouble here. Weaver takes a Stormhammer after trying to go in on that, and now Coddle's gonna blast and illuminate, and he does hit him. Weaver's taking took a little bit of damage there, but he hasn't, you know, not in seriously low health, but you know, enough to be a little bit hurt. A little bit hurt,
indeed. I think the first sort of, you know, we're up to 7 minutes 30 here. I can imagine probably up until about the 10-minute mark, we're not going to see a whole lot of fighting action from either side here. they are going to be looking to pick up their first core items, you know, by between the 10-15 minute mark, and just focusing on their last hitting, which is really what they need to do with this sort of team combo.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. There's another Stormhammer out onto that Weaver with an Illuminate. Takes him down to 100 health. He's just going to time-lapse that back, and he's back to 500 HP, and that's just the joy of Weaver. But now Wreck-It Ralph, that Coddle's in trouble, and he's going to go down to that Weaver again there, and he does actually manage to go down. But Razor's here to clean up. Razor has that haste, and Static Link just runs off. 28 damage stolen, and Weaver's probably going to go away. He jukes into the trees there. They don't really know where he's gone. He's going to Shikuchi just straight past them. Weaver's still going to chase. Razor's still going to chase, and he's found him again. Is he going to be able to do anything though? Weaver's still got plenty of mana, and I'm pretty sure he's safe.
Fantastic juking though. Oh yeah, I mean Weaver is one of those heroes. The mobility on him and his ability to juke is just fantastic. Similar with Timbersaw and Storm Spirit. Like unless you're going to come down with
back again.
Dust or Sentry Ward, there's really not a whole lot you can do to catch this guy out.
And you can't even dust him either because time-lapse just gets rid of it. You need to have a Sentry Ward or a gem, and they're going to rely on that early gem, but if they're just going to keep dying like that Sven like that Coddle has been doing, you know, he's the player you'd expect to pick up a gem. Even at top, actually, have a look down. Dom, Gyro's about to go down. He's taking a lot of damage from that Alchemist. And, Batrider just got the ulti off. No, didn't. What did I see? They did just get picked up there. Gyrocopter goes down to the Alchemist. A little bit of extra gold here. But now both of the Savior players. And there goes Squashed. Warlock dies to the tower. Just a little bit ambitious there. And it's going to cost him his life. So it turned out to be a 1-for-1 trade up at that top lane. Now Alchemist can manage to get some of that free farm. He's got 3 levels in in Grievel's Greed, because they've renamed these things. And now he's just going to start rolling in gold. Look at it.
Indeed. Well, this is sort of what Alchemist really needed. I mean, down on bot lane, you saw them while they were trying to get Weaver. It really was sort of a bad move for Ninefold to dedicate that much time to trying to catch him. They should have sort of admitted their loss there. And Razor should have backed up straight away and pressured OD to either leave, you know, top lane, or Razor got up there to assist on their team, because Alchemist needs farm. He needs to catch up, and he has done that. He's now in the lead with 35 last hits, 8 denies. And, you know, I mean, this is sort of the break that SV needs to kind of get their heroes up and about. Warlock dying. Unfortunate, but, you know, not really a loss to them. I mean, Alchemist was their goal. They're getting Alchemist gold, and he just had a full farm there over Creep Wave. So, you know, that was basically a win-win for them.
Yeah, it exists. And he's got that Shadow Blade now. Oh, sorry, not Shadow Blade. He's got the Claymore now. So that's just to show his acceleration in farm. And he really is a hard carry, mostly because he'll get his 6 items, but he'll get it quicker than most other heroes. But that Sven 6-slotted will destroy that Alchemist in a fight, especially with, you know, Daedalus, Mask of Madness, and he starts hitting for 1400. But Alchemist can just have those 6 items a lot quicker than what a Sven could have. And apparently it is now 4v5. Tidehunter's having a bit of an argument with his mum, and he's kind of AFK at the moment in the trees, as I've just been reported to, because he's having a bit of a family issue.
Coming out here on top lane.
Yeah, we got that Weaver going in on the Razor Dom. And there's the stun. A Stable Concoction coming out on Bearsby quick. He's going to quickly go down. Now Ninefold Tilt's taking a lot of damage. So is that Gyro. Razor does go down to the OD. Measly, Gyro still does have that Shadow Word on him. And he's taking a lot of damage. He should survive. Survives on about 140 health. But you do still have 5 nearly fresh heroes up at top lane. That top tier 1 tower is definitely gone. Mr. Sullivan, the Sven's down at bot, farming up, trying to get some items. He's not going to get much. And there goes Gyro, just hanging around where he shouldn't be, and Weaver's going to just sort of stumble away with a couple of 100 health, and he gets that salve. He's going to go back to near full health now.
That was a great push there by SB. I mean, that's going to put them into about a 3k XP advantage. We're looking at roughly the same with the gold there, which kind of puts them in a very, very good position now, like I mentioned before, to start buying their core items. We are at the 12-minute mark. And then they'll be able to start roaming to gank. Probably going down to, obviously Alchemist already TP'd down to bot, and it's going to start farming there. And we'll probably see the Weaver starting to move around now and assisting his team in ganking.
Well, Sven could be going. Alchemist could be going down here. Takes a Stormhammer just past that tier 2 tower, but there's not enough balls on the side of Ninefold at the moment to dive that, and they really can't. Weaver teleported down, and there's not much. And there's the Sentry Ward coming out. It's not going to be able to do enough though. Weaver does have that time lapse up, and there he goes. Time lapse is back to get full health, to about half health. And now we're going to see that that OD coming from behind Dom. This could be some trouble for
Yeah,
Ninefold here.
they're probably going to wait it up until Alchemist's Chemical Rage is up. He does have 10 seconds there. They are tower hugging, which is a smart move. Warlock is coming down as well. Wreck-It Ralph really caught far too close to that tower.
Here we go, Razor got that static link back up again, and he's taking about 140 damage, but he's not able to do anything with it. He goes down pretty quickly. Sven's going to have to Warcry and run away. It's a big 2-for-1 trade. Warlock did go down there, but now you've got the 3 heroes on Savior, all pushing on that bottom tower. Tidehunter's still up at top. I don't know what he's going on. I think he's still having an argument with his mum, but he's up top and he's not really contributing to that team. We're going to see a Razor buyback, which is a bit unnecessary. He's going to TP into that bottom lane. And, you know, maybe try and clean up those 2 kills, but Weaver's back to full health now. And that's thanks to that Ring of Health he's purchased. You know, it doesn't take long for him to get a lot of health.
I do feel that was a slightly panicked buyback there. That was quite unnecessary. Maybe he thought they were lower than they really were. Oh, and now the Alchemist is coming in with the OD. Stun going on Sven. Sven dropping so quickly. Razor needs to back now. He's going to get himself caught out.
There goes Weaver.
Weaver out. Fortunately, Tyler's coming through. Razor is backing those smart move there. OD taking the tower, probably didn't need to do that, being a little greedy there, but gets away safely. And Alchemist still farming away, doing his job with Warlock there to back him up with a heal.
Yeah, look, it was, and I thought that Cotter was going to drop as well. I really thought he was going to drop.
He has had really bad positioning this game so far, which is really unfortunate for him. I think maybe he's learning a little bit now that he needs to hang back against this team.
Yeah, look, he does need to, and he needs to play so defensive because he's got only a tiny little bit of health, and he's going to drop so quickly to any of those heroes. He needs to be very defensive, and they need to keep having those defensive wards up. But they've also got to have sentries down, and here we go. Kiska could be in a bit of trouble here. He's taking a lot of damage. He's managed to dodge the death with his time-lapse. He's lost 230 damage. He's juking around those trees as much as he can, but here's Razor now, and Razor's just whipping in the damage. Sven takes the kill though, 450 gold to him, which is always nice for a hard carry to get. Just a little bit of bonus gold, and they're going to look into taking that bottom tier 1 tower. Although Savior sort of looking to ignore it and just push that top lane a bit, maybe get that tier 2. OD looks like he's going to stick around and try and get that deny on that bot tier 1 tower.
While that was happening on bottom there, we did have a double gank happen out on top. It was a beautiful combination. It was what I was waiting for from the Warlock. We had Alchemist go out with his stun. We had Warlock drop his ultimate. Tidehunter not needing to waste his, managed to save it, which is a great move from him. It really wasn't necessary. And they took out both the Gyro Chopper, or the Batrider first, and then the Gyro Chopper. So great win for top lane there, and now they're going to TP down bot. Unfortunately, like you said, not being able to defend that tier 1 tower, but they may possibly go in for a gank there if Tidehunter joins them. He does have his ultimate available, so we'll see what happens. It looks like he's going to hang out on top though. I think he's quite happy in his top lane, safe in his little...
It's exactly like I told you. There's not much you can really do there. Unfortunately, he's having that argument. And...
Well, it is highly possible. This is a young team that we are watching here. SB more predominantly from WA and do range between the 16 to 17-year-old mark. So probably at home and probably having a little bit of problems.
Yeah, look, it's definitely a problem. So here we go. Weaver's in a bit of trouble again. He's takes the Stormhammer. Gyro launches his call down now. Weaver just Sakuchi's away, and he is straight out of there. No problems at all. He doesn't want to fight them, and that's good. He needs to avoid that fight at the moment, especially with without his team there. Do we have a stun charge up? No. I thought I saw numbers above Alchemist's head, but that was just his gold skyrocketing, and he's actually up to 370 gold a minute now. So he's starting to push those numbers a little bit higher and higher. We should have. He has got that Shadow Blade now. But Tidehunter still AFK at top.
Yeah, it's unfortunate he's missed out on these.
There goes Weaver.
Really getting a lot of charges on the earth.
Oh, Weaver got lassoed away a bit. He's taking a little bit of damage, and he's going to drop now to Gyro. A lucky cleanup there. Now Alchemist looking like he could go down as well. There he goes. 2 for 0 trade, and they're going to take a tier 1 tower. So a nice little comeback from there from Ninefold. And, you know, this is a 4v5. Tidehunter's their biggest ulti. They do have Rock on Warlock, but without that Ravage, there's a lot less they can actually do.
Yeah, it is unfortunate even one of their own teammates there mentioning it. I mean, it wasn't necessarily justified though. We don't see TP scores up on Warlock and OD. They do get the tier 1 tower, you know, which makes the blow a little less painful, but they are going to lose a tier 2 in mid, which is really not ideal. You know, it's just one of the things there that teammates really need to have TP scrolls on them. And you do also notice that the vision around the map has dropped down. Ninefold are obviously buying more sentry wards than they are observer wards to try and counter that Weaver, but you know, SV really should be keeping their vision up there, especially with one player basically out of the game at this point. I apologise to everyone that I haven't really kept up on the items for this game so far, unfortunately due to my coughing. But so far we don't really have any major core items out except the Shadow Blade on Alchemist, which, you know, in this instance, I think was a really great first buy because it is basically a 4v5, and you know, really for them to succeed in this match, they're going to want to start catching people out on their own, not necessarily going into team battles. So Alchemist having a quick escape there, along with the Weaver, means that they can roam gank together.
Oh, he definitely needs to have that item, and it's such a core item because it gives you that mobility, it gives you the extra farm. The attack speed and the damage are a bonus, but even if you want to charge up a stun, you've got pretty much free reign to get in there. And you know, you can charge it up, walk up to them, and then just throw a stun with, you know, maybe a second left, get that big damage and a big duration on there, and just pick someone off there and then. But we're going to see them progressing onto that top tier 1 tower there. Ninefold making the push. Tidehunter still doesn't realise what's going on, but here comes the Weaver Sis guy.
Oh.
He's coming in. Coddle, there we go. Oh, this is not good. Lasso on Weaver. That can't make him use his ulti. There's the Ravage. He's actually here. He's tricking everyone. Warlock's not there, though. He hasn't got the Rock, and unfortunately, neither is OD. This is an unfortunate team fight for Savior, but they seem to be doing all right. Weaver... thought Weaver was brought back. Coddle's going to buy back there, but Alchemist did go down. So did Coddle. Coddle buys back. Batrider did go down in that engagement too. Mr. Sullivan, that Sven's now pushing onto that tower. Another 400 gold to him, thanks to that Mask of Madness and God's Strength. And he's got a giant pink sword.
He does indeed. Just a really unfortunate play. So the Ravage wasn't necessarily badly timed. Perhaps a little bit late. Would have liked to see a little earlier. Unfortunately, the Gush was used up early when it really should have been saved for that Razor when he was tower diving. And Tidehunter, you know, obviously is a little distracted with real life. Unfortunately, not using his urn there to save either himself or a teammate to go in there and try and pick that Razor off before he got away. But they have reacted now. They are pushing back. Tidehunter does seem to be back in the game, which is fantastic. Hopefully we can see some good plays between him and Warlock come up. Unfortunately, Ravage is on cooldown for another 85 seconds.
Yeah, and look, he did his bit. He came back for the right parts, which is exactly what he needed. You know, he was there when they needed him. That's about as much as you can actually ask for, and it is kind of necessary, you know. But he got it off, he got it off perfectly, and didn't actually use Chaotic Offering there to summon that Golem down. That would have made the team fight a lot smoother for Savior. Even if they had Sanity's Eclipse, but they didn't have either OD or Warlock. So that was a 3v5 turnout. That they did lose that and the tower, but it wasn't, like, they didn't get rolled. It was sort of, you know, neck and neck for the first part of that fight.
Radiant's mid tower is getting banged up. Radiant's mid tower.
I think there's going to be a bit of trouble for them. We can see most of Ninefold, they're smoking up now. It looks like they're going to try and wrap around and head bot, and that drawing is really bugged. But they're going to try and head straight through the middle river. But Savior have just, they're in the, both teams are in the wrong jungle.
Each other absolutely, completely.
Except Sven. Sven's just.
Except Sven, yeah. Like I said, vision. I mean, people really underestimate how important wards are, but wards can win you the game. Unfortunately, the Keeper of the Light, you know, getting kind of beaten down so early game, probably didn't have the gold to keep up as much as he probably should have. He does have 2 wards on him right now, and just fortunately hasn't got out there and got it placed. But they are coming in now from behind, and they may actually be able to sandwich this team between the tower, the Sven, and the rest of the players. So we'll see what happens here.
Definitely, and Ravage is up, and Golem's up as well. Take us through this fight, Dom. It's about to break out.
Radiant lost one of them bottom towers.
Look at this, the Golem's popping down. There's the Ravage as well. Ravage takes out, hits 4 people. Squashed is in there now. He's gotten a Shadow Word. He's going to go down though. Gyrocopter and Warlock are down. Tidehunter's now going to fall. It's now Sven's going down. Razor's running for his life. He's taking a lot of damage. He's down to about 90, 70 HP. Fatal Bonds are still on. Are they going to be able to kill him or not? It doesn't look like they are. But now you've got 3 heroes still up for the Dire. You've got Lola Nabol on the Alchemist. You've got Cardi on the OD. And you've got Kiskai on that Weaver. But they're not going to actually push with that, which is strange. I sort of expected them to push, but...
I think they're quite happy just keeping the lanes back at the moment. I mean, that was a great win for them. It got Tidehunter his Blink Dagger, which is huge. Obviously, that's going to assist them a lot in their fight. We almost have the mech up on the Warlock now. He's only awaiting the recipe and one last piece there. I mean, They could have pushed, but I don't think they necessarily needed to, though. It would have been a little bit risky for them with both major ultimates down. So I think going and pushing the mid lane and just making sure they've got those items and probably picking up 1 or 2 more core pieces. I'd like to see the mech go out before they try to push into the base. SV, unfortunate for Ninefold there during the fight. We didn't see any of the drones being used, which yes may have not have necessarily changed the flow of the battle there, but I really think that with 2 in the party, they really need to kind of coordinate that better as a team, because it can mean an extra kill for them, or you know, a survival, which is kind of vital against 2 major ultimates such as Tide and Warlock. And just like I said, vision, just bad positioning there completely.
Oh, they need to have that vision. If you, as you were mentioning, you know, there's not that many wards up at the moment. And we've got another fight up atop. Lasso's coming out from Batrider, straight onto that Weaver. Weaver's gone into Astral Imprisonment, so a bit of a misclick there maybe from the OD. It means they couldn't get that Weaver. Razor now drops down, so does Wreck-It Ralph, that Coddle, and the Batrider. So it was a 4 for 1 trade. Warlock does go down in that engagement, but they were about to kill that Weaver when he got Astral Imprisonment, and then he can't take any damage.
Yeah,
so
just not changing targets there quickly enough. I did notice that actually in the last team battle, is that the targeting was probably a little skewed. I mean, targeting people like the Warlock and the Tide Hunter after they've popped their ultimate really isn't vital. You know, at that point, those 2 heroes become slightly negligible as far as damage goes, and they should really alternate into the position 1 and 2 heroes, which would be the carries, and you know, the solo operator, which is free, etc. So, yeah, Ninefold need to have a little bit more communication as a team, I feel, otherwise they're not going to push back from this. But as I say in every game, never count a team out, you never know what's going to happen.
Oh, exactly right. There have been, you know, so many games you see the game go to 60 minutes and it's won in a single team fight, or you know, one person being just out of place, and it throws the whole game upside down. It's not over until that shrine goes down. And look at that, Tide Hunter almost went down there. It's got a blink dagger from all that time being AFK. He's now taking a lot of damage, and Razor's just stealing all of that damage. Razor does have the Yashu, he's got a lot of move speed, and there we go. Tide Hunter goes down to 1 attack after Razor. And that's just what Razor does. He's got nearly 350 damage there, and it hurts. It doesn't tickle.
It does indeed. It does indeed, unfortunately, not having
There goes the Warlock. Could see Alchemist. No, Alchemist is going to Shadow Blade away. He's a smart man. Gyro's Rocket's going to follow him, and now OD is getting Static Linked. He's trying to run, and here we go. Lasso out of the way. Static Link's still going off, and Razor's just going to start melting, and there he is. Triple kill. That's a long window between those kills there, but it still counts. Now Sven with his giant pink sword is just going to run in, smack the tower once, and run back out. It's a good contribution.
Indeed, unfortunate for Warlock, they're getting taken out. He is working on his recipe now for his mech, which will be a huge item for that team. But unfortunately, dying there did lose the gold for it, and he's going to look at that another 600 gold before he's able to buy that one up. Alternatively, Weaver's doing quite well there as far as item progression goes. He just needs to farm a little bit more. And Ninefold and Ninefold and Be Quick, I should say, Tills and Be Quick. On the opposite team, doing very well with the item Batrider now with his blink, which is obviously huge. And Razor, I mean, Razor's just one of those fantastic heroes who doesn't even really need a whole lot of items. I mean, it's all about kind of using and abusing the great farming of the team when he still said damage, so doing fantastic there as far as that relates.
Yeah, you don't need the damage items, and that's why people love the tank Razor. Just build a Vanguard, a Pipe, and a Heart, because you can steal 250 damage. Then you're just stupidly difficult to kill, and Batrider's going to try and go down. Oh, he gets the TP away. Very lucky to stay alive there, escaping on just a smidgen of health. He ran into that Weaver, who's almost picked up that Lincoln's. He does have the gold for it, but he's not opting to buy it just yet. And as you were mentioning the items, Dom, we've got that Maelstrom on the Alchemist now. He had that in the last fight, and we've got a BKB up now. Plus, he's got another 600 gold just in his pocket. He's getting pretty big. We could have the 4-staff on Cardi the OD, which looks like he's going to start building. He's got an ultimate orb as well, probably into that scythe. And we're now seeing Savi0ur. They're going to try and take Roche. They do have all their ultis up, so this should be pretty much uncontested. There he goes. That was a quick Roche.
Done for, thanks to the dive.
Indeed, they've picked up Ninefold have picked up Dust. The Lincoln's coming out. Lincoln Spear coming out on Weaver. That was the last gold he needed to finish that item out, which is a huge bonus for SV. Unfortunately, you're about right buying Dust there. I think they were hoping to contest perhaps after the Roshan died, but just weren't there in time. And now they're going to need to fall back, and they're going to need to turtle as a team to stop this Aegis push.
They definitely need to. They're going to have to stop it, but they've got. Savior have the superior team fight, and they've got those two big ultis, Golem and Ravage, to just slow the other team down. It's 3 seconds of stun, and superior stun at that. And they got big follow-up as well.
They almost need to kind of juke it out of the team. You know, they need to play smart here. They need to possibly. I mean, you don't want to risk any of your prime heroes here, such as your Batrider and that, but with a Blink, I mean, if you can possibly set up what appears to be an attack on that team, try and juke out those ultimates being popped early, you know, to stop them from being able to push that lane. That is best, but it does take very strong team coordination. And hopefully Ninefold have it.
Here we go. There's the Ravage from Tidehunter. He blinks in. Golem comes down as well. That's a lot of damage coming out. Coddle and Gyro pretty much popped. Mr. Sullivan, the Sven, pops the Mask of Madness. He just drops even quicker for that extra damage. Aegis goes down on the on Alchemist. He doesn't really need it. He's going to go straight back to that tower, though. Batrider being the sole survivor, and even he only scraped out on 200 HP. We have 4 heroes on full health and 1 on half health, Dom. And it looks like that middle Rax is definitely going to go far back.
Radiant's mid tower.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you said earlier. I mean, what do you do when you have a Warlock Golem and a Tidehunter Ravage buried down on you with an Aegis on a hero such as Alchemist? I mean, there's not a lot you can do except spread out, create your teeth, and hope that it doesn't smash you.
You know the drill.
Yeah, I mean, even coming back from this stage, even with Chemical Rage Dropper and the Alchemist, with that Golem still up, I mean, you're basically looking at a 6-man push almost. There's not a whole lot that Ninefold can do here to keep them off the racks. So keep spamming that wave and hope they can pick 1 or 2 people off.
Yeah, it's, you know, how? You know, even the BKB won't go through, Golem goes through BKB, so there's no way of blocking that. You just need to split up. But what Ninefold really needed to do was play the pick-off game, and unfortunately you can't do that. Not against this sort of lineup. And even now, when Savi0ur being a little bit greedy, Ninefold really can't even pick one off. Batrider did end up dying quickly to that Warlock, but Razor's going to chase that Alchemist down. Alchemist isn't going to do much. He's going to chase after him, throw a stun, 2 seconds. It's going to hurt him. That's a big stun, and he's a slow, and there he goes. Alchemist does manage to get a kill. Weaver got a kill as well, I believe. I missed it, though.
Yeah, Weaver hunt down not only Sven, but also Gyro Chopper as well, after they pushed out, trying to pick one off. I mean, Alchemist seemed to pop his BKB a little bit early, but it really wasn't. I mean, it almost baited them out of the base. As soon as they saw that drop, they went out there to try and stun him. And Weaver, of course, waiting, invisible, you know, to catch them out as soon as they left that base and then chase them down into it.
Yeah, it was pretty well played.
They could do to contest that. It was very well played from the Savior side.
It's those mind games. Savior are inside of Ninefold's head, and they're loving them in there. They've got all this room for activities, and there's nothing that Ninefold can really do about it. Like, have a look at the net worth currently on the teams. You've got Alchemist, Weaver, and OD are the top 3. Then you've got Sven and Razor the next 2. And, you know...
Yeah, I mean, overall as a team, Savior have, you know, over a 15,000 gold lead. We're probably getting close now, you know, to the 20,000 gold lead. You know, that kind of confidence there, there's not a whole lot you can do against it. I mean, once the team gets into the mind frame that, yes, we have this, it is really hard to come back. In saying that, if Ninefold do catch them out, if Ninefold do manage to smoke up, get a good gank, and take down those main heroes, that can do a lot of damage to a team's confidence. And like you say, mind games does play a huge part of it. You know, having the mentality shaken and broken could cause teams to make mistakes and, you know, pop certain abilities, BKBs, etc. early, which can throw a game in completely other direction.
Even look at this, we've got a bit of an aggressive engagement, and look at that. So much damage from Sanity's Eclipse, Rock, and Ravage coming out, and that is a team wipe. That was a quick team wipe. The GG call comes out from Ninefold, but that fight at the end was just too much. That Insanity Eclipse just dropped them all below to about half health, and then it was just, it was handed to him on a silver plate. Golem comes in, Ravage comes in.
It really was. Great pick up there from Savior. I mean, they couldn't see Ninefold in lane. They guessed what they were up to. Ninefold were going for that gank that I did mention. You know, if they managed to catch Warlock and Tidehunter out and get them down before they pushed lane, it could have been the other way around. But unfortunately, Savior, you know, as we've seen kind of from the about 20-minute mark onwards, just playing so well as a team, having great communication and coordination, and just picked them off in that jungle. So well played by them.
It really was, and it was good night from that point where they started getting those items. They started to control each of those lanes. They had the rune and ward control for most of the game as well. And you know, what do you do when the other team's just all over the map? You've got nowhere to farm. Your lanes aren't safe. Your jungle's not safe. Their jungle's not safe. Where do you go to start getting that gold? And there's nowhere to go.
Yeah.
And even 4v5 with Arch Enemy arguing with his mum, there wasn't much. You know, they couldn't do anything even with that 4v5 situation.
Yeah, it is really unfortunate. I mean, people were just in bad positions a lot throughout the match. You know, we didn't see people like the Gyro Chopper and the Keeper, you know, pairing up, going to jungle for quick clears, which have really helped Gyro as far as his item progression goes with the gold there, and Keeper with his levels and gold as well for buying more wards. You know, unfortunately for Wreck-It Ralph, getting wrecked really badly there by the Weaver early game really threw him off as far as his support role goes, which was kind of unfortunate for him. As I mentioned before, you know, earlier in the game during the pick phase, I would have loved to see an IO there, which may have been a better pick from that team. But I think that Ninefold did really play well in the early game, just kind of fell it through there going into the mid game.
Yeah, they did do quite well in that early stage, but they did have kind of odd lanes as well. Like they had what they have top? They had Batrider and Gyro top, and then Sven and Coddle bot. Like we both expected a tri lane, and I'd say even Savi0ur would have expected a tri lane, but it didn't come. It didn't happen. If you're not comfortable with it, why try something that just doesn't work? There's no need for it. But you know they did.
Very true.
They still played well, and you know Coddle got shot down. And once you're an underleveled support against heroes like Alchemist, OD, Weaver, who can just pop up and just obliterate you in a couple seconds, what do you do?
Exactly. But you know, both teams. It was a show match. This is not a league match, just in case anyone had missed the beginning of this game. It was just an exhibition match between these two lovely teams that agreed to participate for us when, unfortunately, the CG LOL match, Dota 2 match that we were meant to cover fell through. Oh my god, I uttered the curse words. I'm so sorry.
It's fine. It's like, there's not a problem with LOL. We will have to wrap things up though, so congratulations to Savior on their win against Ninefold. It was a good show match, and it's a good start considering one of the teams didn't show up, which is more than you can expect. Shout out to Tide Hunter for being half AFK because of his mum. Half the game was amusing for both the players and us, and I think yeah, I'm satisfied with that. Any final thoughts, Donica, on that game?
No, I really enjoyed it. I think the Weaver played absolutely fantastically. Lots of confidence there from Cisco, and I'm actually really looking forward to seeing them in their next league match. You know, they did say to me earlier today that they were, you know, a young new team. They're just a group of friends that like playing together. You know, it didn't really talk themselves up too much, but I think quietly that they performed very, very well in this match, and I think give them some more experience, that they could do really, really well. So good luck to Savior, and all the best for the next league match.
Definitely. This has been Chads from Gamestah and Domica bringing you the live Dota action on a Thursday night for Australian fun times when we've got nothing better to do. Shout out to our sponsors at OzGamers, who are always, you know, providing us with content, the bandwidth, all that sort of stuff. Long-time sponsors of us at Gamestah. You know, this has been a good game. It was fun to cast, and we'll definitely be having many more for you from the Cybergamer leagues coming in the next couple of weeks and months. So make sure you check out our website. It's not fully functional yet, but it will be available at www.gamestah.com. Check it out there. Hit it up. Hit us up on Cybergamer. Hit our Twitter. Everything like that. Follow the Twitch. You know, we've got plenty of content coming soon.